Exploiting system loopholes. You spot a crack in the system, a rule written for fairness that no one checks. You bend it, stretch it, and suddenly, a torrent of unethical money flows where none should. Credit card arbitrage, referral bonuses, corporate tax havens, all ways humans convert oversight into fortune. For a moment, it feels like magic, like discovering a secret river beneath the city. But every loophole leaves a trace, and the river carves its mark into the land of consequence. Insider trading. You whisper to a friend about a deal not yet public. Stocks jump before the market knows. Unethical money blooms in the hands of those who see shadows, others cannot. It's a way of converting knowledge into power, and power into dollars. Every tip is a heartbeat ahead of the law, a pulse of adrenaline and fear. And the world spins, unaware that what seems like luck is carefully stolen foresight. Pump and dump schemes. You buy a stock nobody wants. You sell a story, a rumor, a fabricated hope. Investors rush in. The price inflates. And then you sell, cashing in before the illusion bursts. It's a way of alchemy, turning belief into unethical money. For a moment, you are a god of perception, commanding markets with nothing but whispers. Then the bubble bursts, and someone else learns the hard lesson of your gain. Credit card churning. You sign up for bonus after bonus. You borrow. You repay. You rotate accounts. And rewards accumulate like snowdrifts. It is a way to exploit generosity without earning it, a loophole turned into unethical money. Every expiration date, every fine print ignored, becomes a lever. You play the system, and for a brief moment, the banks feel like children in a game of skill they cannot win. Fake reviews and reputation manipulation. You write praise for products you never touch. You smear competitors with shadows of lies. Reviews shape perception. Perception shapes demand. Demand shapes profit. It is a way to sculpt reality into cash, a brushstroke of unethical money across the canvas of commerce. For those who believe, trust is currency, and your words mint it into tangible gain. Exploiting loopholes in PayPal and payment systems. You send, receive, withdraw, repeat. You discover a bug in the system, a credit counted twice, a withdrawal loophole unmonitored. Unethical money is harvested in small increments, multiplied, magnified, until it becomes a fortune disguised as error. For a while, you are invisible to the machine, a ghost in the circuitry, turning digital oversight into physical gain. The system eventually corrects itself, but by then, you have vanished into the wind with your prize. Data theft and monetization. You watch people share their lives freely. Every click, every swipe, every post becomes a breadcrumb trail. You collect it, analyze it, sell it, monetize it. It is a way to convert intimacy into unethical money, a currency minted from trust stolen and sold back in ads or influence. Each profile is a factory, each behavior a coin, and the people generating the wealth never see a penny. Cybercrime and ransomware. You inject code like a shadow. You encrypt, lock, demand, receive. Entire networks kneel before a line of text, and you hold the keys. It is a way to convert fear into unethical money, a cruel alchemy of digital terror. Every payment is evidence that power can exist without work, that influence can be exacted with terror alone. For a moment, you hold the world hostage, and it pays. Phishing and identity theft. You send emails dressed as authority, a promise of safety hiding theft. Credentials, personal data, banking information, all flow to you through ignorance and trust. It is a way to transform deception into unethical money, a craft of shadows. Each stolen identity is a small universe, each compromised account a goldmine, and all of it begins with a lie small enough to be believed. Counterfeit goods and brand exploitation. You reproduce what others built, exactly enough to deceive. Luxury items, electronics, pharmaceuticals, each a vessel for unethical money. It is a way to harvest desire and trust without creation, to profit from someone else's craft while the law sleeps. Every transaction is a whisper, value without labor, reward without origin. You learn the thrill and the danger coexist in the shadow economy of imitation. Exploiting loyalty programs. You buy, sign up, repeat, rotate, points, miles, bonuses, cashback. Each program a small vault, each flaw a door left open. It is a way to turn generosity into unethical money, to harvest value designed to reward the faithful. You calculate, stack, redeem, and for a while you move in a world that rewards cunning over labor. The system notices eventually, but until then, the game is yours to play. Exploiting regulatory gaps. You study laws, read exceptions, discover exemptions. You structure transactions, shell companies, subsidiaries, or donations to convert gaps into capital. It is a way to turn the slow pace of legislation into unethical money, to profit from the silence between rule and enforcement. Every loophole is a chance, every exemption a bridge from legality into fortune. And the line between clever and corrupt blurs with every calculation. Spoofing and market manipulation. You place orders not to trade but to signal, to bait, to sculpt price, a practiced way to create movement that wasn't real. You watch other traders bite and you pull the rug. The false momentum becomes unethical money in your pocket. You understand that when quotes are performance, markets become theaters, and manipulation becomes a lucrative way. You feel the cheap thrill of power as liquidity bows to your choreography and the profit posts like applause. You know regulators call it illegal, and you also know systems with depth and delay invite these ways to survive. You remember that one whispered fake order can ripple into real fortune, a tiny way to mint unethical money. Ad fraud and click farms. You manufacture attention and sell it as value. Bots click, fake users install, and advertisers pay for ghosts. A simple way to convert vanity metrics into cash. You attend to the plumbing of ad networks, optimize SDKs, and watch budgets leak into account balances. You feel the scale. Millions of fake impressions becoming real dollars, an industrial way to produce unethical money. You know platforms chase fraud, but the incentives, CPMS, performance fees, make this way hard to stamp out. You witness how perception purchased at scale is indistinguishable from demand until someone audits the books. Warranty, fraud, and false claims. You return goods you never bought. You stage accidents. You file for compensation that's not owed. This way of manufacturing claims is small-scale, surgical, and relentless across millions of cases. You learn to read policy fine print, like scripture, and exploit the gaps for unethical money. You feel the accumulated toll on insurers and the diffusion of cost into premiums for everyone else. You understand that when rules are complex, the way of gaming them becomes a regular source of income. Fake scientific claims and pay-to-publish schemes. You invent results and sell certainty. Journals hungry for content accept the payment, and grants follow, funding careers built on fraud. This way to make unethical money erodes public trust, poisons policy, and monetizes falsehood as authority. You watch reputations bought and peer review bypassed. The return on deceit is funding and status. You feel the moral corrosion. When evidence can be rented, the market for truth becomes extractive. Loyalty program abuse and manufactured spend. You buy gift cards to trigger rewards, then liquidate them through resale or conversion. You recycle bonuses into cash flows and treat loyalty points as transferable currency, a clever way to mint unethical money. You optimize signups, cashback cycles, and co-branded cards until the programs collapse under their own generosity. You know issuers tighten rules. You also know new ways appear faster than patches. You feel the thrill when miles turn into flights paid without the flight, when benefits become profit. Phony startups and investor fraud. You pitch a unicorn with smoke and a spreadsheet. You sell a dream, collect capital, and never build the product, a spectacular way some use to extract unethical money. You watch term sheets signed for charisma, not traction, and you realize that storytelling can be a financial instrument. You feel the moral emptiness as venture capital fuels tales rather than technology. You understand the aftermath. Founders vanished, investors burned, and a market that learns a dangerous lesson. Fake charity and donor-advised fund abuse. You create a charity that exists mostly on paper. You route donations, claim deductions, and funnel money back to favored interests, a philanthropic way that produces unethical money under a halo. You study tax forms and exploitation techniques until the loopholes feel like policy. You watch public generosity weaponized into private benefit. You know some donations do real good, but you also see how the way can turn virtue into shelter for profit. Identity leasing and synthetic identities. You build credit profiles out of fragments and rent them to users who cannot otherwise transact. You harvest points, loans, and services through synthetic persons, a modern way of extracting unethical money from financial systems. You exploit verification friction and scale identity into inventory. You feel the systemic harm, lenders burdened by bad debt, real victims with ruined credit, and an economy propped by false names. You know enforcement tries to keep up, but synthetic ways evolve quickly. Insider access and data resale. You trade privileged access to product roadmaps, unpublished financials, or consumer data. You sell that ticket to the market and watch early movers harvest gains. This way to make unethical money is a commerce of secrets. You leverage relationships into information asymmetry and convert foresight into profit. You feel the corrosive effect on markets and on trust between partners. You know insiders rationalize it as market efficiency. You know the law names it theft. Clickbait, disinformation, and attention harvesting. You craft outrage and sell ad slots between the hysteria. You monetize emotion and feed networks that amplify misinformation. a political and commercial way to make unethical money. You watch society polarize while your metrics climb. You feel the cheap currency of attention paying out in dollars and societal harm. You know platforms struggle to police the noise because the way is profitable and adaptive. The haunting ledger. You have learned 15 ways to make unethical money, each a mirror reflecting a design flaw in institutions, code, or human trust. You feel the pulse of incentive that turns rules into revenue and flaws into fortunes. You understand that every way creates winners and countless losers, that cleverness without conscience is a machine that extracts value from others. You know the system will adapt in patches, law will chase, platforms will close, and new ways will appear in the seams. You stand at the ledger's edge and ask, who pays the ultimate cost? You hear the answer in the quiet aftermath of every exploit. The erosion of trust, the widening of inequality, the slow purchase of cynicism with unethical money. You feel haunted because the real glitch was never technical, it was moral. You realize that until incentives change, the ways to extract will never end, and the ledger will keep a long, unforgiving record of what we allowed to be monetized.